Alright, well, it's the last video. I couldn't figure out how to switch it back around, but anyway, I'm home now. And so here, I just wanted to do a little rundown of the truck. You can see my new splitter. It seems to be working really good. It's got dirt all on it. So there's my splitter I made, and it's made out of Alumilite. And that is a Muncie Speed bumper. So the support rods are right to this Muncie Speed bumper, which is fiberglass with a carbon fiber inlay. It's beautiful. That damage right there was done at Daytona International Speedway. I broke down on track. The record driver had it loaded up. Had my tow hook there. I have another one on the rear, and he used that to cinch the truck to pull it downward, which is not what they're designed to do. They are designed to pull straight, not to pull downward. Anyway, it broke, rolled off the back of the flatbed, and that's the only damage it did, was that, and then my headlight bezel. It did that damage there. It was a hard impact. The whole front end shifted over. You know, it shoved the front end to the right, and it shoved it back into the door right here. You can see where the door was scrubbing, and I had to kind of realign it. But if that would have been the factory aluminum headlight bezel and the factory steel bumper, that would be crushed and the bumper would be horribly bent. And my point to that is that those struts that hold the splitter up, that is an extremely strong, extremely lightweight, extremely high quality piece. That was well worth the money. I really do look forward to using more Muncie Speed products. And speaking of Muncie Speed, there is the instrument cluster bezel. That is carbon fiber, along with the heater AC controls and the radio bezel there, and then my glove box door. There's some beautiful pieces. That's a TMI dash, which is really nice. I'm running carbo seats. They're the kind of inexpensive model. My truck's a mess, so you'll excuse the mess. But I've cut the floorboard, lowered the seats down an inch, cut the whole floorboard down an inch. That's a GM style steering column that I cut the firewall out, moved it to the, I moved the steering column to the left, about 1.5 inches, 2 inches, to center the steering column with the center of the seat. I don't know if you can really tell much about it. I'm sorry, I don't mean to make you drunk, but the steering columns, that ain't helping much either. But the steering columns from the factory were to the driver's side, off center of your body, which it really bugged me. So anyway, I centered all that up. I'll put Tilson pedals in it. I'm not really good at these videos, but anyway, the pedals are adjustable. They're really nice pieces. And you can see it's one of the reasons I want a new wiring harness, because, well, the wiring's just a mess. These NACA ducts right here in the side of the bed feed the heat exchanger, which is in the bed right there. It's massive, holds 5 gallons of coolant. Forge line wheels, I'm really happy with these. 18 by 12, 335, 35/18 tires. Those are Outlaw 2800. Race car brakes is what they are. The rear rotors are extremely thin, probably too thin for the amount of driving that I do, but so far they're working all right. I might have to replace the rotors soon, just because of how thin they are. QA1 mod shocks. Let me see the Winner's Performance quick change. Man, I love that thing. I've changed the gear ratio a couple times. I'm running a 397 gear in it right now. I have a TR60 66 speed transmission. Let me walk right in the back here. Here's the QA1 Mod Shocks. I've got some GoPro cameras that I am going to, there's a remote reservoir. I'm going to put some GoPro cameras on different places on the truck and get some action shots. I'll be driving kind of aggressively. It's a homemade exhaust system. It's not the best, but it works. It doesn't leak. So the Mod Shocks are one of my favorite things on the truck, along with this No Limit Engineering chassis. Man, this thing is like a piece of art. Rob McGregor does super great work. I believe he has a independent rear suspension that he's just come out with. I'm very intrigued about that. If I could still run my quick change, which I believe I can, an independent rear suspension, that would be super cool. Open the bed real quick, and so there's inside of the bed, which is pretty dirty in here. I did have to raise the bed floor up for the chassis. There is a massive heat exchanger, which is a tractor trailer radiator that a local radiator shop made for me, and they put some custom end tanks on it. It works very well. I do think I need to increase the airflow back here, and this is all homemade. My tonneau cover there. The truck's pretty cool, man. I really like it, and I'm not being boastful. It's just you know, I'm an old guy, and it's just my toy. I painted it myself. I did every bit of the work to this truck myself. I did everything but build the chassis. I'm running, well, you can see my gas tank there, which is actually underneath the heat exchanger. You can't, well, yeah, you can kind of see it right there. And then I've got a massive water pump. Let's see. That is a, you can barely see it there. That water pump is a Stewart, it's for a Ford GT. It's an intercooler pump. Paint's not great. I got some more modifications I want to do to it here in the near future. There's the engine, 4.63 valve, running 18 pounds of boost. The internals are JE forged pistons, Manley H-beam rods. I balanced it all myself. I had the crankshaft balance. It's a stock 6-bolt crankshaft, but they're pretty strong despite being a cast crankshaft. And there's my Tilson master cylinders, one for each front and rear brake, which is kind of unusual for a street truck, but I'll show you in a minute why I chose to run individual master cylinders. Shot of the QA Mod Shock reservoir, and these shocks are just killer. I cannot say enough good about them. They've got 4 adjustments to them, replaceable valving, which I do have another set of valves for them, and I'm going to try some different valves on the front shocks. Right behind the steering shaft there, maybe you can see it, there's an 1.25 inch aluminum pipe that feeds the Department of Boost intake manifold. There it is right there. It's pretty dang big. It runs down the side of the frame rails, and it feeds that big heat exchanger. Well, the lines hook up to this intake manifold here, which at the back of the intake manifold back there, there's 2 1.25 inch barb fittings, and a massive amount of water flows through the intake manifold. It's dirty. I drive this thing a lot. I'm going to make headers for it in the future. These are some hacked up, couple sets of headers I hacked up and had to weld together to make them fit. I'm kind of interested in ultimate headers. Probably can't afford it because this truck has broke me. I mean, literally. and I just don't know if I can afford it. But I do got a lot of header bins, and I may just try to make my own headers, and I may even make fender well headers. Well, I told you the triple master cylinders, the dual front and rear master cylinders. This is my brake bias controller. You can see I got forward and front and rear, and I can change the bias front and rear. I can crank it all the way to the front, lock the front brakes down, and do a massive burnout if I want to. Anyway, it's just a homemade hot rod. I like it. It's low, it's fast, it's fun, and it is reliable. So what more can you ask for? It's just kind of my dream truck, and I was able to pull it off and make it all work. And thankfully to all these great people, my sponsors, I was able to pull it off. Still a lot of changes need to be done to the truck. It's not a show truck, it's a hot rod. And anyway, some of you that know me probably get sick and tired of seeing it and hearing about it and everything else, but some of you don't know me, never seen the truck before, and it handles incredibly well. It doesn't drive like a truck whatsoever. So I'm doing the Ultimate Street Car event, another one. I did one in Daytona in April. I'm doing another one in August at Road America in Wisconsin. I'm really looking forward to that event. I've got most of the bugs worked out of it, and I think it ought to do pretty good. Just a couple of little things. I got RX catch can there, which really works great for supercharged applications. They really work good in all applications. Just the PVC system, but don't make me tell no lie. The PVC system allows a lot of oil vapors to get into the throttle body, and it makes the computer cut timing out, lose power, all that crap. Just put the Ford Racing throttle body on there before the power tour. Department of Boost. If you're looking for a supercharger setup, go to departmentofboost.com. Jason Eder offers a ton of information, and there's a whole lot that I was going to show you. I'm running Speed Hut gauges. I'm running a lot of gauges. Fuel pressure, oil temperature, and then of course all your other typical gauges. And then over there is my coolant temperature and my heat exchanger inlet and outlet temperature, which I do like to monitor that, because that way I know well, if the supercharger pump isn't working, or it's just good to monitor stuff like that. I got a wideband Behringer, I think it is. It's a really cool, real precision wideband gauge. What I like the most, though, I think is, believe it or not, is that fuel pressure gauge right there. I can see I'm running a Kenny Bell booster pump, and I can see the fuel pressure jump up when it gets in boost, and that way I know that I'm safe, along with that wideband gauge. So I know when the truck's, what it's doing and what it's not doing. Homemade headliner turned out decent. It's just a cool little hot rod. It's something anybody can build. You don't have to spend as much as I did. I kind of went overboard on a lot of stuff, but anyway, I just want to kind of show my truck off and tell everybody happy 4th of July. Thank you for all those that have made us been able to celebrate this holiday. And we live in a, everything's not great, it's not the best of times, but we're free, and I'm thankful for those that have fought for our freedom. So there's my truck. If you got any questions or comments, leave them in the comment thing. I will be doing more YouTube videos here in the future, different things. Hopefully I'll get better at it, and I'll be able to entertain entertain you, you know. But there she is, man. You have a good one. See you guys later.